morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I can't help but feel that Anne's train has derailed a little bit and maybe gone off the tracks a little bit. But of course, we will get into that in a little while. As always, on a Monday, I'm joined by my husband, Jimbo, by the Queen herself, Elly Hoybier.
Good.
Oh, is it? Oh, no, it's Queen Bentoncourt today, sorry.
But Queen, both of them came on.
Yeah, that's true. And the nicest guy on YouTube, Mr. Chang. Jimbo, first of all, how are you doing?
It's funny that because I'm watching a program called Fire Country, and it's about firemen, and there was a train on there that derailed, and I actually laughed when I saw it. I thought that's the Anne's train.
How are you doing, Jimbo? Good?
Good, thank you, yeah. Ready for the show.
Good to hear it. Excellent. Chang, how are you doing on this?
Rather well.
Good.
Rather well, given our rather deflating and demoralizing loss away at Craven Cottage. I can't lie. But in other than that, I thought I had a really good weekend. I'm really looking forward to spending a lot more weekends such as this, where there aren't any Spurs unexpected losses to dampen whatever family time you've had planned for your loved ones. So I'm not going to sound any more sarcastic or try to sugarcoat our loss, but we live, we learn, we move on. It is what it is. We still have another 10 more games to go. And despite that loss, I'm still also surprisingly upbeat and optimistic about our qualifications for Europe, whether that's going to be Champions League or Europa League or even Europa Conference League. It remains to be seen. But I am still upbeat and 10 league games left to go for the rest of the season. Let's make it a season to remember, a good first season to remember under Big Ange and his first season in charge.
Well said, Chang. And Queen Elly, how are you doing, my lovely?
I'm really well. I don't think sarcasm and Chang go together, do they? He's always upbeat. It's like I'm in between, like, so I'm thinking, right, we have to be creative when we lose, isn't it? Us ladies especially, because it really does hit us hard. I'm not saying it doesn't hit the fellas hard, but I'm saying it hits us hard because you yourself, Kate, when you lose, you get all the backlash, don't you? And you get lots of negativity going around the community, especially. But what I would say is a blip in the train. We've slightly derailed, but we can get back on that train and choo-choo our way back to Europe, whatever it may be. Like Chang said, Europa or Champions League, I would prefer, to tell you the truth. No word of a lie. But we've got to remain positive, because at the end of the day, if we get too negative in the fan base, I think it goes towards the club as well, and they feel it because they read the social medias. So let's try and get back on that train against Luton. We've got the 2-week break, so we've got 2 weeks to contemplate on how we go from here.
Yeah. Exactly that, Elly. Couldn't agree more. Before we crack on with the show, let's have a look who's in the chat. We've got first place prize goes to Eugene. Good to see you. Levy out. Big up to you. Aaron Lawrence in the house. Big up everyone. Hope you're all well. So gutted about Saturday's poor result and performance. Yes, I think we all are. Big up Mia. She says, not derailed, just diverted. Big up Kate, Jim, Elly and Chang. Yeah, just taking... Well, Tottenham always do things the hard way. Let's be right about this. Ben's in the house. Says, not going to lie, I'm so angry about what's going on at the minute. Mark CFC is not angry, I'm sure, because Chelsea got through to the FA Cup semi-finals at the weekend. So congratulations to you. I'm sure there was a bit of squeaky bum time when it went to 2-2. But Chelsea showed their quality.
They were singing, you don't know what you're doing, the Pops.
That's right.
They pulled one out of the bag for him, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. Spurs GCTV says, afternoon, Kate, Jimbo, Elly and Chang. Hope you're well, my friends. All good here. Thank you very much for asking. Shemtan's in the house. Said good afternoon to the Fantastic Four, Princess Kate, Queen Elly, the youngest old man on YouTube, Chang, and course jester Sir Jimbo. Big up, Shemtan. Morning, Rakdos. Good to see you. Andrew Gregory's here. Says there are delays to the Ange train due to engineering works on the line. Chang. Chang's in the house.
Some pigeons on the line because he missed the fitter.
Oh, don't, Elly. Don't start on the pigeon yet. I can't cope. Destiny's here saying hi everyone. Joey Barton's in the house saying truth is any recent manager had turned in that performance, people would be calling for their head. GBC says hello everyone. Yes, I'm sure you are happy, Mark. Big up to you. You've had a lot of crap this year, so big up to you. Chelsea showed quality with a man up. They weren't going to win otherwise. This has got to be the $1 million question. Why he took Mudryk off and not Sterling, who was appalling. I mean, he was rubbish. Jim, you're muted.
Booed by his own fans.
Do you know what? Do you know what, right? The ironic thing is he made the sub and they were all singing to Potts, you don't know what you're doing. Then the sub scored 2 goals.
Yeah.
So does he know what he's doing or don't he know what he's doing?
But, I mean, to see Sterling carry on and play that game when he was just diabolical, I don't know what's going there. But there you go.
He was worse than Werner in front of goal.
Bloody right he was, far worse. Big up Future Music, says onwards, indeed. I am angry. Oh, we've got lots of angry people in the chat today. Let's hopefully we can turn that frown upside down. Where do we want to start? Do we want to start with the other games or do we want to start with Spurs? I shall let you decide.
I would rather start with Spurs.
Okay, let's get that out of the way then.
Yeah, let's get
I've even given us a goal that wasn't there. Let me change that because it was actually.
Well done, Kate.
Yeah, I'm trying to make it a little bit.
Can't you make it 4-3?
I'm changing history here. Fulham 3, Spurs 0. Obviously, a diabolical performance at the weekend. Jimbo and I did speak about it yesterday. Elly, I'll come to you first. What did you make of that debacle?
I dissected the game, right? You look at the stats, it looks like we were in the game. But really, we weren't at the races, were we? Because we were second to every ball, or most balls. Paulinho was bossing us and being so aggressive against us. They were using a bit of shithousery, but their wingers won them the match. Willian and Iwobi played out of this world, and they made it easy for Munez to score his 2 goals. And basically, they didn't dominate the play, Fulham, because we had more possession, but they had the way they played was very clever, and they knew they could get behind us without Van der Ven mopping up. We were very vulnerable. Although I wouldn't blame it on Dragusin or Romero in particular, I would say Destiny and Porro had quite poor games in terms of what they're capable of. And as a defensive unit, we weren't quite there, right? But you know what? Sometimes you've got to take the knocks, right? And this was a big knock against Fulham. We just turned up like we were like Maverick and we're going to win the match without even trying, didn't we? We just rolled up thinking, oh, this is going to be an easy game. But look, the commentator said it in pre-commentary that they've won 8 out of 10 games and they've taken some big scalps, Fulham, you know. So, you know what? We should have turned up with a better attitude. That's what I would say.
Yeah. I can't disagree with anything you said. Chang, what did you make of it?
Wow, where do I even begin? How do I even try and unravel that mystery? I did a watch along with Mr. Eugene, who's here in the chat, as well as Colin and Jose Garcia in what was a dual live stream watch along over on LTL Cockerel, Talk and Ball, as well as Spurs Vision TV. And that first half, if we had somehow managed to get into that first half 0-0, we might still have had a fighting chance in the second half. But the fact that we went in the first half at 1-0, despite us trying to get the upper hand from that very, very horrible opening 10-15 minutes, we actually looked like the more likely of the two teams to open the scoring as the halftime approach. But when they then took the lead, I'm thinking, you know what, this can either go one of two ways. Either Big Ange actually sees what's happening before his very eyes and do something about that absolutely translucent and transparent midfield who were just getting torn to shreds, and they had all the time in the world to just pick us apart time and time again. It was only a matter of time where I felt that, you know what, now that we've already gone 1-0 down, we have halftime before us. Let's do something. Let's make some changes. I believe Mr. James himself said it best yesterday during your morning show, whereby he felt that substitutions should be made at halftime. I felt that as well. I was crying out for Bentancur every 2-3 minutes, even before they had scored, even before the referee blew up for halftime. And rather sadly though, the substitutions came a bit too late. When Big Ange made wholesale changes to our midfield, he completely took off the existing midfield of Madison, Pape Matasar, and Bissouma, and that in some way tells you just how shambolic that that midfield was, to the point where he had to make wholesale changes. And by the time he did it, I think it was far too late. What made it even worse was when we failed to then score our complementary goal this season. I was really hopeful that we will make it 40 consecutive league goals back to back, but sadly that streak has now been ended, and I really do wish things had happened a lot differently. Timo Werner, what a miss from him. Johnson had his chances as well, as did Madison and Son Heung-min. And what's worse is that we can't really blame it on injuries and suspensions, because barring Mickey van der Ven, that was pretty much the best possible 11 you could pick out. And although we could say in seasons past or even early this season, if either one of Romero or Van der Ven is injured, who do we have for a backup centre back? Dyer, Ben Davis, Royale. This time we had Dragushin, and that wasn't how I expected him to make his full debut. I can't lie, that was kind of painful to watch. But my only hope is that from this very damaging and damning league loss, we would have to bounce back. I don't see any way else Big Ange can go about it. There's absolutely no sugarcoating this loss. It was very abject from every single player on the pitch, maybe barring Romero and Vicario, who actually kept us in the game before they did open the scoring. I do wish and I do pray that the coming international break will give Big Ange ample time to regroup and mount a serious challenge for top 4 with 10 league games remaining.
Yep. Couldn't agree more with everything you said, Chang. Jimbo, obviously we did our show yesterday. Anything you want to add to what we said?
Yeah, I'm wondering if Ange is just taking this season in, and he's just watching and learning with the players, the team. That's why he don't scream and shout, because I'm quite like that. I like to watch and learn, keep my mouth shut on things until the time's right. So I'm wondering if Ange is doing that, if he's watching and learning, because you can see he's engrossed in the game and he's watching the players. And I just think to myself, he said many times that he's not worried about top 4. He's worried about progression. So I'm wondering if he's just taking it all in, getting ready for the summer and the next season. But it weren't a good display. I'm not gonna slag people down. It's just not what I do, and unless it comes to a time where I think that it needs to be said, because we had a good game the week before, and we praised everyone. And I understand people are upset and they want to put players down, and so I don't say that they're wrong. I'm just saying that I'm not going to do that. There was a few people on the pitch quite a few that never played to the standard we expect them to play. But I just think to myself, we just got to move on from that because it hasn't been a bad season overall. We've done quite well this season under the circumstances. So I think we should just move on and look forward to the next game. And if it happens again, and then we can start questioning. But I'm not going to slag Angel the players down. It's not yet, no.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say much positive about that because there wasn't really anything positive to say.
No, I agree with that.
There's a couple. I'm sure this is what I've been like since it happened. I'm kind of still stunned by it because I really didn't see it coming. I thought we would build on the momentum from the Aston Villa game, and I feel shocked. And this is why, Jimbo, I'm not calling you out. When
you can call me out, darling. You call me out for everything else in my life, so why not this?
Big up, Leo, and everyone else is coming. Leo. Big up. This is why last week or the week before, when you said we're not Spursy anymore, and I said, but we are, and it's going to take a long time for that to go. This is the most Spursy thing we could have done. Beat our rivals to the top 4-4-0 convincingly with an epic performance, and then not even turn up against Fulham. You couldn't get any more Spursy than that. I've had a couple of people with questions, which I'll come to. Shemtan says, does the way Basuma is playing show that Conte was right about him all along? Ellie, what do you think?
I'm very disappointed with Basuma because I expect a lot more. And he's playing this role which doesn't suit him, deep line, defensive. I think he's better deployed more forward because he drives with the ball, and where he's getting pressed, he panics and he loses the ball quite often, right? And he's got a mistake in him, that's one thing for sure. But I'm just disappointed with his back passing and sideways passing. Because he can even drive from the back if he wanted to, but I don't know whether it's a direct instruction from Ange to play like that till he gets his confidence back. But I think with being a midfielder myself, you only get your confidence back if you do what you're good at, right? He's not doing what he's good at in that deep line defensive mode. It doesn't suit him. It'd be better for them to switch Shah to that, because he's got the legs and he will carry the ball as well, because we've seen that. He's run from deep. But then have Basuma linking up with Madders like we did early doors. That's where he was most effective. And it's a shame for the player as well, because he's probably frustrated that he's playing that simple role, But other than that, there's a lot of performances that I didn't like. They were some of them were trying, but it just wasn't coming off because Fulham were bullying us. They were getting to the ball quicker than us. They were more hungry. Their desire was better, and their play was better. And we know we should have had that in the back of our minds, because we know if they've won 8 out of their 10 home games, they're going to give us a game. So we should have been on our guard, and we weren't. We were sleeping. Like I said in our notes, we're like Sleeping Beauty. We didn't, because we can play beautiful football, don't get me wrong. Because against Villa, we were absolutely sublime, the football we played in that game. And it was like chalk and cheese and very upsetting, because those players can do better.
Yeah. I agree. Chang, I mean, in Basuma's defence, the first 10 games of the season, he was epic. And I actually said that I thought he was better than Declan Rice. And in the first 10 games, I stand by it, I think he was. But obviously now, Declan Rice is miles ahead of him. What do you make of Basuma? He's a very frustrating player.
I thought that, everything you said about Basuma was absolutely spot on. And if you want my honest opinion on how, or rather where, Basuma's performance and also his commitment to not only to Spurs but to the game as a whole truly dropped off, was the away game at Luton, where he picked up that red card. I felt that not only was that unnecessary, but it actually put us in jeopardy of not maintaining that unbeaten streak. But thankfully, we got away with it there, and I really do hope we do get away with it next time we play them when the league resumes. But as far as Bissouma is concerned, and his performance, his somewhat on and off, sometimes lukewarm, sometimes blazing hot at times, indifferent and rather lackluster, as was very apparent on Saturday. This is not something new. Conte himself spotted it very early on, and I know Big Ange has had a big part to play in helping him, guiding him, but players like Bissouma and even Ndombele, to a certain extent, they have to realize that they themselves are adults. They are no longer kids. They are no longer teenagers. They are grown-ups with big paychecks, and fans turn up, whether it's at home or from overseas to come watch them, whether they're playing in N17 or on away days such as this. They have to learn that with their big paychecks, there comes a certain level of maturity, hard work, and ethic. This is what I want to see from them. Ethical.
Yeah, being responsible. It's true.
Yeah, which is why this league loss makes it even more hard to swallow, given how what a bright start they had, and suddenly here come the tail end of the season, the business side of the season, they're nowhere to be found. That's just disappointing for me.
Yeah, I agree. Jimbo, what are your thoughts on Biss?
Yeah, I just want to say before I go on to Biss is that I think, right, if he'd have made the subs at half time, I don't think we lose that game. I really don't.
I agree.
I think when the subs come on, and I'm going to blow some smoke up your ass here, Ellie.
I know. I was expecting it.
I
keep ready.
I thought Højbjerg really showed something when he come on. He showed some fight,
didn't he?
He showed some fight and some passion, and I just think that when he made the subs, that we kind of got into the game a lot more. So I think if he'd have made the subs at half time, I'm convinced we don't lose that game. But going on to Biss, I don't know what to make of him, Kate. Honestly, I'm a bit lost with him. And what Chang just said about them, the wages they take, that they should be stepping up and all that. I don't even think, Chang, that it's even the wages. I think once they put this shirt on, right? Once they put this shirt on, it's an honour to play for Tottenham Hotspur, right? And if you put this shirt on, when you look back to the days I said yesterday of the Hazard days and Hoddle and people like that, they put this shirt on. It weren't to do with money; it was to do with playing for the club and fighting for the club. And when I see these players making this big money and not giving their heart and soul, it's really, really frustrating. And I'm going to put Biss in that category to a certain extent, not like Ndombele or I'm not even going to say the Kelso, right? Because at least he's trying now. But some of the players we get that don't fight for this club makes me sick. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking, and Biss is starting to get in that category with me. I don't know. I can't make out, Kate, because we know he can play, because we've seen it in a Tottenham shirt and we've seen it in a Brighton shirt. So why is it not happening? I don't know. I can't answer the question about him. I'm lost with him. You want to know the truth?
I kind of agree with what International Observer, big up to you, says here, that in a perfect world he'd be coming off the bench. He's 2 years away from being a Dembele type general. I think a lot of the problems at Spurs is because we don't have the squad depth to be able to have players that really need to fight for their positions. But we need a really top quality defensive midfielder. I said it last year. I would love a Zubimendi type player, someone that can boss. I mean, what Declan Rice is doing for Arsenal is unbelievable, the way he stepped up. We don't have that. Our midfield was non-existent at the weekend. We got overrun. I did player reviews with Danny last night, and I gave all of our midfield 2s and 3s. I thought they were appalling, and that is where the game was lost. Regarding Big Ange, he's not to be, I've seen calls for him out already, quite a lot actually, and he's gone from being Big Ange to Fat Ange in a lot of streams. I have to say, he did remind me of Poch in the fact that he made his subs too late. I think everybody could see the midfield was overrun, and we all wanted the changes made at half time. And by the time he made them, for me, it was just too late. The damage was done. Højbjerg came on, solidified up the defence, played better in the time he was on than the first three. The midfielders did. The whole of the first three midfielders in the game played. And the same with Bentancur. I thought he was better than all three of them as well when he came on.
Yeah, agree.
What's interesting, Kate, right? I looked at the stats when they came on. They only had, I think, 15 minutes each to get us back into the game. We created 5 clear chances to score, and the rest of the match, the other 75 minutes, only 4. So that proves that midfield, if he'd made that earlier, if he'd changed it at half time even, or even pulled Bissouma off, because he was having a nightmare. He was getting bullied here, there and everywhere, and he couldn't break the lines. He's not doing it anyway. In the last lot of matches, he hasn't been doing it, right? And, we just, Bentancur and Højbjerg, they've got an understanding. They've played together for 2.5 years, you know.
Yeah.
And we had a very good team. I don't care what anybody says. Under Conte, we were playing some good football as well. We weren't playing shit all the time under him. We were playing very good football. A lot of the games were very exciting as well. It's just we fell off the wagon once everything started going wrong and the deaths and everything. But I know what fans like. They like attacking football, and Angie's giving us more of it. So I'm happy with that aspect. All right. And it is better than that. It is better than Conte ball. It is. It's better to watch. And we'll get there. I reckon Ange, right, what he's doing is praising, right? He's not shouting his mouth off. Like my brother said, we were having a conversation with my brother this morning, and he said what he's doing is looking to see who can play his style of football still. He's still working it out because it takes a lot of time to suss out who's up for it and who's not, who's got the right mentality, who hasn't, you know. And I think he will get there with the addition of all the players that he wants to bring in. I think we're going to be rocking. It just takes time. It's not going to be overnight. You know, it takes time to build that team that he wants to build.
Yeah.
And then that system wins. It's won for him everywhere he's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Joey just said this isn't Scotland or Japan, which I agree, but I still think he needs time to get the players that he needs. I don't think he's got the personnel that he needs. What Højbjerg and Werner showed more fight than anyone else, says Randy.
Yeah, I thought Werner was showed a lot when he come on. He really livened that front line up, but they missed the easy chances, didn't they? Which then opens a can of worms for people to start slagging them down again. But
not only that, Jimbo, but sorry, I've got to say because I'll forget. But if Werner scores that chance, Johnson gets the assist, takes the heat off Johnson as well. But he did that brilliant cross, so he got the heat, and Werner got the heat.
But
you know,
I mean, every striker misses chances. So we've seen I've seen that Haaland this season miss one that I just thought was impossible for anybody to miss.
I know. But 3 yards out.
And Johnson missed. We put them goals away, and we're talking about them differently. There's such a fine line between success and failure, you know, in football.
Yeah, I agree.
You know,
I mean, I've got.
Go on, Kate.
Go on, Ellie. No, go on.
I was just going to say before, Jim's right. There's a fine line, right? But I think if you give your all, right, and you lose, I think that's more acceptable if you've given your all. Where you see players are not giving their all, that's what's disappointing most of all. You know, it hits you in the heart because you love your club and you want those players to go out there and show what they're worth. You know, you pull on that shirt, like Jimbo said, you're proud and honoured to pull on the shirt. Yeah, and you should give your all every single match. Be consistent. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I just don't think footballers feel like that anymore.
Well, every morning I put this on, I'm proud to wear it. Even when we lose 3-0. And you see what I'm saying? I'm just a fan. So what should
same here as well, Mr. James.
Yeah. I said we're the poor man's Man City, right? Because what I mean by that, we've got the technical ability in a lot of areas, but we're not quite there technically in all of the areas like they are. right? But what they've got over us is their work rate. They fight for every single ball, every single game, because Pep won't have it anyway. And Andrew's got to instill that into these players. I know he might do, but when they go out and he sees that it's not working, change it up and change it up quicker, because that'll give them a kick up the arse to say, look, you're not entitled to be in my team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to ask. I was trying to work out, but not being rude. I'm trying to find out how you do a poll on YouTube, but I haven't found it.
On YouTube.
So, yeah, I will look into it. I can't be bothered to look now because I get confused. Is there anyone on the panel who is Ange out yet?
No.
Nowhere
near.
No way.
Is there anyone in the chat who is Ange out yet? I'm just wondering, that's all, because I have seen calls. Robbie, I've sent you the link if you want to pop on. You're welcome. I haven't seen anyone say it, although I saw Joey Barton make a comment which made me think Nuno didn't get time. I think the difference with Nuno is we can see what Ange is trying to do. There's a definite progression, and he hasn't had a full chance to get the players in. With Nuno, it never looked right, did it?
No.
But I'm going to agree with Joey here. I think sometimes this club pulls the trigger too quick, and I think with Nuno, he never really got the chance. They pulled the trigger too quick on him. I'm not saying that I wanted him, right, and I'm not saying he would have done it. But what I'm saying is I quite like Nuno when where was he at? It was at Wolves. Or Wolves, I liked him when he was at Wolves. Is the football they played and that. And they got results. So I'm with Joey here. I think they pulled the trigger too quick on him.
Yeah, okay. And also, when he took off Moura, I was at that game, that Man United game, and he took off Lucas Moura. We lost. What did we lose that game? 3-1, I think. Anyway, regardless of what
it was 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. That's it. We regardless of the result, Lucas Moura was having a very, very good game. He was playing really well, and he took him off, and then they said, "You don't know what you're doing."
Yeah, that's right.
The whole crowd, and that was his now in the coffin.
Yeah,
it really was, because Lucas is a fan favourite as well.
Yeah,
regardless of what anybody thinks of him, he was a fan favourite.
Big up, get the Ford Arteta out my club says. What I find funny is that you Tottenham fans were taking the piss out of Man. They were supposedly signing Timo Werner. I bet you're not laughing now. I like Timo Werner. Like I said it last night. I've got a lot of pelters for it on Danny's channel because everyone hates him. I like him, and I think he'd do a job for us. He's 15 million quid. He can be a decent squad player for me. And I know people are going to moan and say that, you're the problem with the club and lack ambition and mediocrity. But it's my opinion, and that's how I feel. Big up, Robbie. Nice to see you, lovely. How are you?
Not bad, thanks, Kate. Good to see you all. Hope everyone's doing as well as possible after Saturday. Cheers for
all right, Robbie.
This is spooky, Robbie. I said to Kate yesterday, what did I say to you yesterday, Kate?
You need to get Robbie on your show soon.
That's what I said to her.
Spooky.
Good to see you, Jim Chang. Nice to meet you, Ellie. Good to see you
nice
as well.
Nice to meet you as well, man. I love your stuff, what you do as well.
Yeah, exactly. We do. Big up Lee Smithy Smith for the super chat and Chelsea. Robbie, what are your thoughts? Are you Ange out? And what are your thoughts on Saturday's debacle?
To be honest, I'm more frustrated about the reaction from some of our fans after Saturday than I am the actual performance and result. It was a really bad day at the office. There's no beating around the bush. No one turned up. On midfield especially, I thought Maddison, Basuma and So, you were saying earlier in the show, Kate, were horrific on Saturday. Mm-hmm. But I think we expected a lot more bad days than what we've had this season, especially after how bad last season was. And I'd say that's probably only the third or fourth time we haven't turned up for 90 minutes this season. And I think it shows that as a club, we're moving in the right direction. We've got a young team that are developing. We're playing a much better brand of football than last season. We've got some brilliant results. But what's frustrating me is how reactionary some of our fan base. So I think a big chunk of our fan base, as I say, I'm not going to say happy clappers because that's a phrase I don't really like. But we'll try and put a positive spin on anything. And then you've got another big chunk of our fan base that you're part of the problem if you have a different opinion and all this and all that. But I just think, as I say, Ange out is silly. You know, it's his first season. It's a transitional season. We've had so much positivity under the man. What, after a few bad results, one bad result after we beat Villa 4-0 last week, we're going to call for him out? I don't understand it. And you know, I don't think we would have got something out of the game. But if Johnson and Werner put their chances away, it's a different end to that game, definitely, because we did create chances. I just think some of our fan base are far too reactionary. Anjal is, in my opinion, really stupid. I think to appreciate how good or how much we're improving this season, you have to look at last season. Finished 8th, sacked Conte, then sacked his assistant for Ryan Mason. You know, fan base constantly arguing. We head into every game now excited to watch us. We've only had a few poor blips. We've been able to compete in games with the top sides. I think there's a lot of positives to take from this season. We expected to be lower than we are. You know, pre-season, a lot of people, opposition fans, saying we've been like a relegation battle, and Spurs fans said we finished 9th, 10th, and probably be where Chelsea are. The fact we're like contending for a place in Europe in the Champions League, for me, it shows that we've got we're having a really positive season. And I think, as I say, Anjal is just very reactionary, because a lot of the people who were saying that were last week, you know, raving on about him being one of the best managers this season. So I think we all need to calm down, have a cup of tea and a sandwich, chill out, and wait until the next one. If we lose to Luton, maybe, you know, a little bit more criticism is justified. But for me, it's one loss. It's been a good season, and there's no need to be overly reactionary.
Yeah, I agree. Big up Alan from Time Added On. I just saw you'd come in. Kuva, he's in the chat and he's dropping a massive bombshell. If we fail to stick to the plan and end up sacking Ange after another poor summer transfer window, then I'm done with the club and you won't see me on football streams until we have new owners. Please, Levy, don't let that happen. I can't live without Kuva Bear on the screen. What will happen to the world? I have to say, Jimbo
out of retirement.
Yeah, Jimbo and I are both in agreement that if Ange does not back, if Levy does not back Ange, we will be full Levy out.
Because look, it doesn't. Kate, can I say something on this?
Yes.
I had a good chat with Brian Daigle this morning privately, and he knows my stance on Levy. I like Levy in the sense of what he's done for the club on the stadium side and making money. But I hate him on the football side. I really do, and this has been my stance all along. I think he should stick to what he knows. But he doesn't do himself any favours with Levy, right? He puts the prices of the season tickets up, right? Midway through the season, right? Just it seems like to piss everyone off. He knows it's going to piss people off. He then the old people like myself, right? He makes it impossible for them, right? And the young people, and then he announces that we're going to have one game on the other side of the world as soon as the season ends. So they've had a season where they're learning, right, under this guy, and it's physical, very hard work for these players, the training they do, right, with the way we play. And then he's flying them off for one game across the other side of the world. And I think to myself, is this guy just, is he clever or is he stupid? I don't know, because he seems to do everything during the season to make people not like him, you know. And I don't understand why we're going across the other side of the world to play Newcastle. You know, it's all to do with money. And I just think that he shoots himself in the foot for people like me, because I mean, I never really knew about it, because you know what I'm like when we lose, Kate. I don't watch anything on Tottenham or read anything on Tottenham until I get my head straight with it. And when I saw this morning, I just thought to myself, what is the guy doing? You know, he shoots himself in the foot with people like me, that I'm not Levy out. I'm Levy, fuck off and stick to what you're good at, you know.
Yeah. But, you know what? Little Jimbo, he's been shooting himself in the foot for 20 years.
Why does it? I mean, there's no need to play Newcastle in Australia, is there?
No, I don't want to get into that right now, Jimbo.
He has progressed our club. Don't get me wrong.
Of course he has.
He has progressed our club, but he needs to do a little bit more on the football side in terms of helping the manager by giving him the tools to. But when you think about it, right, we're 5th down the pecking order of the players at the moment. Unless we start winning, and it's going to be hard to win because there's 4 really brilliant sides ahead of us, you know. So it's going to be tough, and it's going to be Ange, his creativity and his football philosophy that might get us there, because you have to be competing with a really identified style that he's got, right? So I don't like this narrative that he has to change. No, he's not going to change. That's the way he plays, and he's sticking by it.
But Ellie, but it is going to be now, right? It's down to Levy now to back him in the summer.
Yeah, that's what
He
I'm
has
saying.
to
He's
back
got
him
to
this
back
summer.
him.
He has to back him.
He's got to give him everything that he needs. Like Andrew, go to him. I need this player, that player, this player, and that player, and I need this one gone, that one gone, that one gone. Whatever he decides, it has to be up to him.
Right, don't go into. I'm not going into the Newcastle thing. We will cover that on another show, but we've only got 50 minutes. There's so much to bloody talk about. But then we might not even get past the Tottenham game the way this is going, because there's so much to talk about that bloody game. Got a few questions and comments. Chelsea boy, big up to you. Congrats on your win at the weekend. Says, what do you think about Johnson as a player? This is a tough one for me, because we all waxed lyrical about him last week, and that he turned a corner and he showed us that he can do this, that, and the other. And then he was completely non-existent this week. Robbie, what do you think about Brennan Johnson?
I think the ability's there. I think we've seen that. I think last week against Villa he was brilliant. But I think with him, it's just consistency. It's settling into joining a club like Spurs, because the standards and the expectation, it's very different to when he was playing at Nottingham Forest. He'd pop up occasionally with a bit of brilliance and a moment of magic for Forest, but it'd be the tracking back in his work ethic that he struggled with. And at Spurs, as I say, it's harder to sort of pop up with those moments of brilliance, because you've got, more expectation on your shoulders, more pressure. I think he's put in performances this season where I've looked at him, I thought he's been brilliant. That Palace game, came off the bench, changed the game. That goal from Werner completely comes from him. Against Villa, he was taking on his man, looked brilliant. And yesterday just felt like a few steps backward. He didn't look confident enough to take on his man again. Whenever he got it, he was just sort of playing the safe passes. And it's frustrating, because, again, you know that there's a player in there. You know that there's ability. I just think he's got to properly still settle into Spurs. I think, in my opinion, I see a lot of people going to sell him in the summer. I think with the money that we paid for him, and because there's ability there, I think give him next season, the rest of this season, give him next season. If he's not turning up next season, maybe you look at, trying to cash out on the guy. But I definitely think there's potential. It's just about sort of unlocking it for me with Johnson.
Yeah. Ellie, thoughts on Johnson?
With me, I agree everything that Robbie said, but I'd like to add, he needs to work on his fitness and his physicality, all right? Because I would say he wins 2 out of 10 duels when he goes, when they come up to him. He's got to get that to at least 7 or 8 duels that he's winning. Because when you lose the ball as well, high up, and they hit you on the break, and we haven't got Van der Ven covering, it showed in that particular match, all right? And you need the physicality and the fitness, and I don't think he's quite got it, because he runs out of puff, right? And that's why he got taken off, I think. Not because he was trying, the boy. I'll give him his dues. He was trying, and he was trying to create something, but it just wasn't working. And I just feel he lacks physicality and the fitness to quite play Ange ball. So they got to work on him at the club to build him up a little bit. It's a bit on the skinny side, in my opinion. He needs to bulk up a little bit, like Gareth Bale did. Do a Gareth Bale, Johnson, and come out like a real man, solid. Because you have to be strong, because those defenders, they're massive. You see that Bassi, he's built like a tank. To beat him, you've got to do it with skill and physicality, because he will fight for that ball, right? And he's just losing most of the battles. And a lot of the time, Kulu was. He's strong on the other side, but at least he was trying to get random, but he's just using his left foot too much. But Johnson, I'm on the fence with him. Just because, there is a player there, like Robbie says, but I'm still on the fence with him. You're on mute, Kate.
Kate.
You're on mute.
You're on mute.
I was doing that on purpose. I was just making sure everyone was paying attention. That's what it was. I was going to say, Gooner Country says, for a Spurs channel, this ain't a bad channel. The recommendation was correct. And I said, thank you very much. Who recommended you? That was all I was going to say. Big up Side Dancer as well. I did do a poll just to see if it works, and it bloody well has.
I can't see it.
No, you can't see it StreamYard. You can see it on the on YouTube.
All right.
Chang, what are your thoughts? Yeah, great seeing Robbie on the channel. Big up, Rob. Chang, what are your thoughts on Johnson? Have they changed? Are you still, how are you feeling about him?
I think Johnson still has a lot to prove, and that has nothing to do with his price tag, really, at this point of the season. I felt that at the beginning of the season, he had a lot of the game, or a lot of big Ange and his Ange ball to learn as far as trying to get his act together and be an effective player in the team, in the squad as a whole. But as the season wore on, you could see that there is a player in there. The assists and the goals that he's been getting every other game has proven this much. But of course, when it comes to this sort of big games, where you're expected to show up and turn up and actually do something with the momentum, or rather the win in your sails, this is where I think he needs to learn. I agree with every single thing that Mr. Robbie and Queen Elly has said so far, and especially that last bit that Queen Elly was saying about how Brennan Johnson needs to buff up. I do agree to a certain extent that yes, he needs a bit more physicality to his side, although maybe not too much, because with that added physicality and bulk, he might lose some pace, speed, and acceleration. That is a vital component to his game. I'm not saying that he should buff up to look something like Adama Traore or anyone that's overly muscular, but really, yeah, exactly. But exactly. It's okay. It's fine, Queen Elly, because I agree with everything you said about Johnson, and even maybe Kulusevski, or even Manor Solomon to a certain extent, where wingers, or rather the white players, when they are trying to take on their fullbacks or even centre backs going at full pelt, bearing on goal, you still need that extra physicality to be able to outmuscle and sort of like out jostle the opposition in order to get yourself into goal scoring positions, or even set up crosses and assists. Johnson has a lot to prove, but make no mistake, I still fancy him to get at least another 4 or 5 goals and assists come the end of the season. It would be a massive and a shame, really, if he doesn't try and build on what he's already achieved this season, especially given the opportunities that Big Ange is affording to him. Although that those opportunities might be a bit too soon for him, and that he should have had someone of a mentor, so to speak, to lend him a guiding hand. But I have full faith. I have full faith that Brennan Johnson will come good, whether it's towards the end of the season or next season. We'll just have to wait and see.
Jimbo, anything to add on Johnson?
Yeah, I just think that he's not a £50 million player, and that's not his fault. Right? Yeah. We paid it. He never asked to be made a £50 million player. If you want to know my honest opinion, I don't even think he's a £15 million player at the minute. Right? Someone put a Gooner, what's his name, Gooner something?
Gooner Country.
Yeah, Gooner Country said if we paid 25 million, Gooner Country, I would be disappointed if we bought him for 25 million and he was playing like he was playing. But I'm not one for throwing people under the bus so early, and I think he needs time. And he has shown some progress, definitely under Ange, a bit of progress. Let's give him till the end of next season, or give him next season and see what happens. But I honestly don't think he ever showed it. He's a £50 million player, because I don't think he is. And I won't blame him for that, and I won't put him down for that, because that is not his fault. He never asked for the price tag.
Yeah. Randy, I hear what you're saying. Sick of people slagging off our players, yet Song gets let off. He was our worst player. He contributed nothing, consistently losing the ball, over-hitting passes, poor. I think he was poor. I gave him a 4 out of 10. I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch. He did huff and puff, which, to be fair, as much as I moan about the whole praising players for trying, because it should be a given, he was one of the ones who was constantly trying. It just didn't get anywhere. But I don't think he gets let off. Does anyone else think that Song gets an easy ride?
No.
Okay, if we're brutally honest, right? If we are all brutally honest, and the people in the chat, there was only 4 people on the pitch that we could give any credit to, right? That was Bentancur, Werner, Højbjerg, and the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
They're the only ones we can give credit for, because I thought them 3, when they come on, you could see they were trying and putting something into it. And the goalkeeper, he kept the scoreline from being a cricket score. So I think if we're all brutally honest, they're the only ones that we can give any credit to. There weren't one person on the pitch other than them that I can give credit to.
Yeah, I think Romero was okay. Romero was okay. He wasn't to his normal standard, but he was okay. The thing is with Romero, he's slowing down the game a lot lately.
Yeah, I noticed that, Ellie.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he slows down the game. He should be a bit quicker getting the ball. You know, because there are runners. There was 2 runs that Sonny did were absolutely fabulous, and no one found him. I watched it. Right, you watch it back, guys and girls. Right, you'll see. Right, he made 2 brilliant runs, and they didn't find him, and I was so frustrated by that.
Chang, what do you think of Ben's comment? Play fullbacks as fullbacks rather than the whole inverted fullback.
This one actually, there are 2 ways of looking at this. If the inverted wing backs or inverted fullbacks works to a certain extent, then yes, you can deploy it. But Big Ange needs to learn when the system works and when the system doesn't work. And against Fulham, I think it was very apparent in the first half hour or so, even before halftime, even before Fulham opened the scoring, that the system wasn't working. If there was one way that I could describe the away loss and just how we lost it, it was almost as though at Marcos Silva, somehow or other, he played Ange ball better than Big Ange himself on the day. Because if you look at how Fulham set up, how they dominated the ball and how they managed to find acres of space, it was almost as though that they played better Ange ball than the players than the Spurs players themselves, and that for me was very disappointing, especially when you know that Mickey van der Ven was the last defender that actually helped the fullbacks invert, and when he wasn't around, we got exposed time and time again. But Big Ange did nothing. It was almost like it was very reminiscent of the Wolverhampton loss away and at home. That's how I felt it went. And I agree with everything that Mr. Benjamin Kaufman's saying, that if, say, the fullbacks should remain fullbacks in a system where you know it's not working, that's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, everybody that criticises Ange and his system, I get it. I do get it. But then most of these people are the ones that were crying for Ange to come to us. So you kind of knew what you were going to get, surely, because he says on every interview, every press conference that this is how he plays. But I do agree with you as well, Chang, that he needs to know when the system's not working and make changes, because every top manager does that. Big up Paddy Hartnett. Says, afternoon, folks. Not one player deserves over 3 out of 10. There's a divide starting again with the fan base, orchestrated by certain clowns, and that is not good going forward. Big summer ahead.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Yeah, I can see a divide. I called someone out for it yesterday. But I think that's always going to be. I find this fan base so toxic at times. Robbie, I'll come to you on this one. It's kind of hard to judge this guy, but what did you make of Dragushin? Do you see a player in there?
I'm not going to be too harsh on him because I think it's his first 90 minutes at the football club. But to be honest, I didn't think he was brilliant. I thought for the first goal, if that's Mickey van den Ven, he puts in a challenge where he's closer to his man and he slows it down. I thought at times we lacked that recovery pace, playing the high line. And I wouldn't say this is the only thing that got cost us. There were so many more factors. But I think with the way that we play, Van de Ven's so crucial tracking back. The amount of times he tracks back, puts in a tackle and covers our wing backs because they're in the midfield. And I think without him, whoever you put in there, without that pace, it's going to be a drop. It's going to be a drop off for the system that we play. I think he did some things right. He put in a few good tackles. He grew into the game a little bit. I don't think the second or third goal are really his fault. I think the second goal is more Brennan Johnson for not tracking his man and making the underlapping run. And I think the third goal is I wouldn't say lucky, but it's slightly jammy, to be honest. But yeah, I thought he was okay. I don't think you can look at him and go, oh, based on that one performance, he's not going to be good enough for the club, or based on that one performance, he's a starless kid. I think he's got to get more game time, a few more chances. I think next year, if we qualify for Europa League instead of Champions League, you might get a lot of game time in that competition. But yeah, I think it's hard to judge him off his first 90 minutes, because in that 45 minutes when he came on against Villa, I thought he looked excellent. He did a really, really good job. So I think he just needs a little bit more game time to fully judge him. I'd say it was quite an average debut, not great.
Yeah, I would say. I mean, I think the most apparent thing was him and Udogie had no idea what the other one was doing. There was no communication between them at all. But it's hard to judge him. Anyone else want to say anything about Radu?
I'll just echo what Robbie said. He said it all what I was going to say, and what you said, Kate. That him and Udogie haven't got Kuva. I just highlighted it. But they haven't got an understanding yet. So what Robbie said, I said.
Yeah.
I'll just
Chang, yeah. Oh, Ellie, go on.
No, go to Chang.
No.
Okay. Go ahead, Queen Ellie. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to add that I don't think he had a particularly good game, but it wasn't a particularly bad game. But I just feel maybe he was a bit nervous. It's his first 90 minutes, because when he came on against Villa, like Robbie said, he was excellent. Didn't put a foot wrong, took one in the balls as well, as you remember.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. But you know what? It takes time for a team to gel. And while Van de Ven's at, hopefully Van de Ven will be back. And I personally believe a lot of fans have been calling him to go on the right and put Porro in Kulu's position.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think that's better. Because Kulu, however good he is, he's just, sometimes he just frustrates me. Like he just doesn't go on his right foot, and he loses the ball quite often. And then we're under the cosh. All right, he does track back and that. And he's got his advantages. But I just thought, getting back to Dragusin, I just thought you can't blame him, because he's new to the team and he's new to the system. It will take time, but will he get that time? That's the thing. Because once Van de Ven gets back, he's going straight back in. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah. Chang, what did you want to add? Lovely.
The one thing which I had to speak up in defense of Dragusin was that because Big Ange was still kind of trying to make up for Van de Ven's loss by deploying Dragusin as the backup Van de Ven, which I felt was a complete mismatch, because Dragusin didn't have the pace. He definitely doesn't have the height, nor does he have the understanding with the back four, in which how they typically, push forward or rather push very high up together as a unit. It was very apparent within the first 15-20 minutes that if the game carries on the way we've been playing all season with Van de Ven, then it was only a matter of time before Dragusin was caught out. And when he was caught out for the first goal, I just felt sorry for him, because the understanding just wasn't there. He didn't have the height nor the pace to have to deal with whatever our midfield wasn't covering up for him. Neither were our fullbacks, because the crosses were just being peppered in from left and right. And he did okay on the day. I thought it was decent. It was neither good nor bad, but it was decent. But when you expecting someone like Dragusin on his full debut to cover for Van de Ven away on our travels, no less, it was always going to be an uphill task. So I just hope that he learns from this, and if Big Ange has any sense, he would think twice now when deploying another player for one of our regulars in his Ange ball system.
Yeah, completely agree.
Though? 6'3", Dragusin. So he should have had the heights aspect. He's got it. 6'3". Whether he's strong enough, yeah, he is, because look at the size of him. Yeah, but I just feel he was nervous. That's what I think. Because when he came on against Villa, I think we were 2-0 up, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's a different ball game because we're bossing the game as well. But this one, we were under the cosh a lot of the time.
Is 6'3" with or without the bun?
I don't know. He might be 6'5" with a bun.
Big up, Stuart. Good to see you.
Stuart.
I did want to touch quickly on this game. Obviously, West Ham, I think, were unlucky because I thought they'd won it in the last minute, but whatever, VAR in 6 minutes decided that it wasn't a goal. So somehow
it was obviously clear and obvious, Kate. If it took 6 minutes,
that. But the damage is damage limitation in the fact that Villa failed to capitalise on our loss. Anyone see the game or got anything to say about the game?
No, it's just, do you know what? I had it on, and the first one handball, how they've ever come to that handball, because I couldn't tell, and I watched it over and over again. And the last one, it took them 6.5 minutes. I didn't particularly want West Ham to win because I don't like West Ham and my mates Villa. But this VAR is just a joke. I thought it was clear and obvious. If it takes 6.5 minutes, it can't be clear and obvious, can it? So so West Ham and Villa draw. And VAR lose, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah. Robbie, was you going to say something? You look like you surged forward to say something.
No, I think the game, to be honest, I didn't watch it. I saw the highlights last night on Match Today, too. I put it on. And I thought they had 3 goals disallowed, I think, West Ham. And they were, to be honest, Villa were quite lucky, even though they had all of the ball to get something out of that game. It actually annoys me more because you see in Villa, they're on a right wobble at the minute. I mean, West Ham, they got battered by us when they played us at Villa Park. I think they lost to Man United a few weeks before, and Chelsea and teams like that. They're not playing and as well as they did earlier in the season will have that same momentum. And it's frustrating because we beat them obviously 4-0. It's like, right, capitalise on that. And if we would have won, I think we would have probably been above them in goal difference now as well. So it's quite annoying that we didn't take that opportunity. But top 4 is still well up for grabs. It looks like it's going to be top 5 this season anyway for coefficients. I don't know how much confidence United will get from that win yesterday. So that might be challenging to keep them away from 5th. But I think even if we get top 4, 5th, like Hanj said as well, it's a place on the ladder. It's a transitional season. It's more about developing as a team. And I think don't worry too much about Villa. Worry about ourselves. Get the wins, as I say, and see what happens. Both of us have to play Arsenal, Man City, and I think they have to play Liverpool as well. So it's definitely an interesting run-in. We've got them all in a row. They haven't, but I think worry about our own results. But they weren't great from what I saw, Villa. Yeah,
I'd agree. And like I say, it's we should have done our job. We should have won, but it's not as bad the fact that they dropped points. That's the only positive that I suppose I could take out of that. The FA Cup yesterday, Chelsea scraped through. Mark came in at half time saying, it should be 5-0. And the next thing we know, it was 2-2. And I think the bottoms were probably going, and there was chance that you don't know what you're doing, and there was all sorts. But Chelsea went on to steal it. And once again, Chelsea are in a position where they could nick a trophy this season, despite it being an absolutely diabolical season. Ellie, what are your thoughts on this game?
Oh, God, I watched the game, right? It was a very interesting game because even though Leicester got back into the game, I wasn't really impressed by them because they were losing the ball quite often, and Chelsea were on the front foot most of the game. They did deserve to win, just put it that way. But when the sending off came, right, that was sort of their nail in the coffin for Leicester because there was no coming back from that because that player was actually playing very well for them.
Yeah, he was.
He had a really good game. And I just thought Chelsea had the upper hand. They've got more class. It does, even though they're not a top Premiership club at the moment, they've still got their players who can pull it out the bag. you know, and they've got skillful players as well. It's just that they haven't gelled as a team yet. But Poch is working on it. I urge the Chelsea fans, right, to be patient with Poch, because at the end of the day, look what he done for us. He made us into a superb side, right, and he picked up quite a big mess. And he's inherited that squad. It's not his squad, so he needs to tweak it here, tweak it there. And you watch Chelsea already in the semi-final. They've already been in the League Cup final as well. So, you know, we can't crow really at them and say they're doing what. We're just better in the league.
Yeah.
We had a fantastic start and they didn't. But, you know, I think Chelsea are in transition as well as us. So let's see who comes out tops, us or Chelsea. I hope it's us, because I think Ange Ball is a little bit more cleverer than what Poch Ball is, in my opinion.
I do agree with you, Ellie. I think Chelsea fans should have patience with Poch. I think he'll come good, but I don't think Chelsea will have patience, because they don't tend to have patience. Obviously, they've got City. Sorry, I had to laugh. They've got City next in the cup. Anyone else got anything to say about this game?
No, I just sorry, Robbie. Only quickly.
Go on.
Chelsea boy said Sterling was shocking. Chelsea boy, that's why Pep got rid of him. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
I just think Chelsea have been rubbish this season. Every time I've watched them, I don't even understand how they're mid-table. Some of the football they play, I think without Cole Palmer, genuinely, they could be in a relegation battle. And I don't even say that as a joke. And yesterday, if it wasn't for that red card, that could have been a very, very different day. Could have gone to extra time. They could have crumbled like a chocolate digestive in milky tea, and Leicester could have gone through. But they got very, very lucky. And I think, as I say, that guy getting sent off, it hugely helped them out. It was a great goal from Mavididi, that Leicester one. There were some cracking goals in the game.
Yeah.
It's just, I was watching it with my dad, and I said, watch Chelsea scoring like the 92nd minute, like they did against Leeds, and you know, whip out their one chant, the only chant, Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea.
Yeah,
They sing. It's just, they do my head in. They really do my head. And then I was like, oh, you know, they might actually, you know, get Coventry in the semi, get to the final. And then you never know. I saw they got Manchester City, put me feet up, as I say, tucked into me Sunday roast. No worries whatsoever. They're going out.
You have to say, you can't really see Chelsea getting past City, but it's the FA Cup. Anything can happen. I've just got to say something that I remembered. I've got to big up Expressions. Not that he'll see this, but he said the funniest thing I've ever heard him say about our match. And he said, we lost to a team that's full of ham at Ramadan. And that, to me, is the funniest thing. I couldn't breathe when I heard him say it. He just comes out with the funniest statements ever.
I always watch him, Kate. He's fantastic.
He's brilliant.
He's not everybody's cup of tea, but he's definitely my cup of tea with that chocolate digestive.
Yeah, me too.
Uncrumbled though.
Me too. Mark says, I don't get how you say Posh rushed came back, but will never put players back in for us that get injured. Well, it's a different situation, but honestly, I do believe he will come good. But Robbie, we do have more than one chant. Yeah, your chant. Champions of Europe, you'll never be that.
They've got like 2 or 3 chants that they sing at Stamford Bridge.
They are.
I can't remember them singing a song about a player at Stamford Bridge. It's just everyone, Chelsea, champions of Europe, and we've won it all. That's your lot.
Yeah.
The funniest one is when they're singing "You Don't Know What You're Doing," then the sub that come on scored 2 goals.
Exactly.
You know what, though?
I was absolutely wetting myself.
They say we're not champions of Europe, but we've been champions of Europe 3 times. If you take the Europa League, right, it used to be called the UEFA Cup. That was the 2nd-tier competition, because the European Cup had only the first team in it. Yeah, only the first teams competed in it, right? Whereas the other teams were 2nd, 3rd and 4th, whatever it was then. I can't recall. But, you know, we've won 3 cups in Europe. So, and we were the first English club to win anything in Europe. So stick that in your pie.
Yes, we was.
Yeah, exactly. I've got to go to this game, because we've got to cover this game. This could well be one of the greatest quarterfinals of the FA Cup ever played. Hats off to Manchester United. I mean, Terry's opening. Terry did the fan review, and he just was he summed up everything about the FA Cup. You know, the magic, the shock, the emotion. For how they played Man United. I mean, where's that team been all season? They showed so much fight, so much character, so much desire, and it was just a fantastic game. Chang, did you watch it?
So I did watch a bit of the first half before I had to doze off, as I had a very, very tough day today. But I was able to watch the rest of the highlights, and this is that one neutral game which I did wish I had watched the whole way through, rather than the Spurs loss away at Craven Cottage. The game was started very positively for Manchester United, but as the game wore on, it was obvious that Liverpool were going to capitalize, and they did through some rather questionable defending from Manchester United. I felt that Jurgen Klopp should have at least kept Mohamed Salah and a few other players on, maybe until the 85th or even 90th minute. I think the substitutions might not have worked in Liverpool's favour, from what I saw anyway, from the highlights of the second half. And both teams actually had sufficient chances to win it in normal regulation time. That Marcus Rashford missed towards the end of the 90 minutes. That was, I think, I thought it was going to come and bite them in the back, but fortunately for him, he did manage to find the equalizer in injury time to make it 3-3 before the game was won at 4-3. But that Armand Diallo, his second yellow card for over for celebrating when he sealed the winner, that effectively ruled him out of the semi-finals with a second yellow, and that equates a red. So it was fun to watch, even on just by watching the highlights. Yeah, that was a fun game to watch. And if Manchester United are to get anything out of the season, this could be their last chance to actually get silverware.
Yeah, agree. I mean, they've got Coventry, so they've got a favourable draw. Ellie, did you see well, I know you saw the game. What did you make of the game?
Well, it was a very open game. I thought Liverpool were bossing it in regards to the possession and the way they were playing. They were getting behind Man United and really punishing them, but they didn't punish them enough. They didn't take their chances. And I think the game was won and lost with individual brilliance. You know, and coming back to that Adama Diallo, I think that is disgraceful to give that young lad. What sort of message are we sending out? Right, these bureaucrats who make these rules that you can't take your shirt off. What is this all about? It's taking the passion all away from football. They've already given us VAR. You can't even take your shirt off to swing it around in celebration. That's part of football. The passion.
I know it's not like he took his knickers off. I mean, I'd understand that.
Yeah, right. And it's just bureaucrats who are making up these stupid rules that a player can't do that. So I feel sorry for the lad, because now he's going to miss the semi-final, probably the biggest game in his young footballing career, over a silly thing. I mean, he knew what he was. He knew that he'll probably get it, but it's just, in that moment of scoring that winning goal, right, which proved to be the winning goal. Sorry, you can't take the passion out of football. Come on.
If he'd have took his knickers off and he'd have got sent off, you'd have had all the women complaining then.
Well, if he took his knickers off, I'd be worried, because he should be wearing pants.
That's what I'm saying. They'd be complaining that he got sent off for taking his knickers off.
You know what I mean? It's ridiculous. And I just thought Manchester United had their moments again, whereas Liverpool were the more dominant team, right? And they had more chances. When I looked at the stats, they had slightly more chances, but they just didn't capitalise, and you get punished. If you snooze, you lose in this game. And what an exciting game, though. And what an advert for the FA Cup. It's lost some of its sheen, but that game put it back on. It was fabulous.
Yeah. And Robbie, what did you think of the match?
I really enjoyed it. I think over the last few years, the FA Cups, it's not been great. Whereas this season, you've had Maidstone, causing some real upsets, knocking out Ipswich. You've had Coventry. That was a great game on Saturday. And then yesterday's game was just absolutely brilliant. I don't like either side, to be honest. So you know, whichever side lost, I knew I'd take some sort of happiness away from it. And to see Jurgen Klopp being salty as per usual after a loss on Sunday.
Did he walk out the interview?
Yes.
Yeah, he started
No, he did.
insulting the interviewers waiting and whatever, and it's just I don't get it when a lot of people go, "Oh, Jurgen Klopp, you know, he's this likable guy, relatable." It's like all the respect in that sense that he's a great manager. He's achieved so much at that club, but a nice and humble guy. He can't take a loss at all. And fair play to Man United yesterday. I thought on the counter attack they looked really dangerous, which is what they've been lacking a lot recently. Rashford was really good. Great goal from the young lads. Ahmad as well. I agree with Elly. Taking his shirt off and getting sent off for that, meaning you'll miss the semi, or just taking their passion away from it. The same as if you jump into the crowd now, where a manager runs out of his technical area or whatever for a celebration. I don't think you should get booked for that, to be honest. I get it's a second yellow and not straight red, but I still think he's just won a derby game 4-3 in the FA Cup quarterfinals.
Yeah,
of course he's going to celebrate. Don't stop him from doing that or make him reserved. But I think it's an extra game for United who we don't want catching up to us. But I do worry a little bit that it could give them a lot of confidence, to be honest, because it's one of those wins, beating your arch rivals and stopping Liverpool winning the quadruple as well. Meaning that even if they win a treble under Klopp, it's not going to be the same because it's the Europa League. So they'll always have that over Liverpool fans now. And I think
exactly.
for United, that's brilliant.
Yeah, exactly. Jimbo, anything to add?
Yeah, do you know what, right? It just shows you why football's loved so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because the up and downs in that game for Liverpool fans and Man United fans, right? Man United going 1-up on top of the world, 2 minutes, in a 2-minute spell, they're on the floor, right? And the Liverpool fans are up. And it just shows you why football's the best game in the world. Because the emotions in that game, if I was a Man United or a Liverpool supporter, right, my emotions in that game would have been all over the place. And I would have probably had a heart attack at my age. So
Jimbo, I mean, Jimbo and I were going into Hassam's chat. Who was either really miserable or really happy. And then we were going into Staffy's. It was either really, and it was so funny, the difference in emotions. And then, of course, Hassam, if you haven't seen it, he had the meltdown of all meltdowns when Liverpool ended up losing the game. Oh my God, it is hilarious, Elly. It is hilarious. Yeah,
this is why football. That game is a typical example of why football's the best sport in the world.
Yeah,
you know what as well? Man United, Liverpool, their biggest rivals.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter about Man City. Liverpool is their niche. Even Alex Ferguson said we've got to be better than Liverpool in that interview, right? And his whole goal was to make them better than Liverpool, and he did. But now they've fallen by the wayside, and Liverpool are the team, right? So what an exciting game! It makes you love football even more.
Exactly that. I've put, Dom Hassam was hilarious. He was. I was hoping he might be coming on the top 6 tonight, but he's not. Damn it. But that's the link to his channel. And it was the watch along. As soon as the game finishes, he tells everyone to F off. He just has the biggest meltdown I've ever seen. It was hilarious. Bruno should have been sent off. If that was Romero, he would have got sent to prison. Taking shirt off his yellow card, whereas a kick in the chest with studs is no booking. Yeah. Make it make sense. This did make me laugh, Gunnar. I know you're saying it in jest, but will you guys be distraught when we win the league at your gaff? First of all, you won't be winning at our gaff because Jimbo and I are going to the game and we won't allow it to happen, will we, Jimbo?
No.
We will not allow that to happen. We will be there screaming on the boys. First time at the new stadium. Can't wait. And if someone asked me the other day, what will you do if Arsenal win the league? Will you cry? And I'll say, no, I shall put my hands up and say you deserved it because anyone that wins the league deserves it. I think that's pretty much
the best team this season, haven't they?
They have really.
Arsenal have been, I know it's hard to say, but they have. They have been the best team.
Yeah.
Even better than Liverpool, and that's hard to say because Liverpool have been rocking. I think Man City have been less than what they usually are, I must admit. But they're still up there.
Yeah.
Aren't they?
Yeah, they've played fantastic.
I would love it if we could stop them, though. Even if we lose to Man City and Liverpool, but we beat them at our place,
Yeah.
And then to see their meltdown and watch Arsenal fan TV. Oh my days. Oh my days.
Do you know what? Jimbo would say no when I say this, but I'd take a draw in that game. I just don't want to see us lose. I knew you'd say no. I don't want to see us lose.
I understand that, but I want us to win.
Yeah, of course. I want us to win.
It's going to be a hard game. We have to be on our game against them.
Yes, we do.
We really do.
So yeah, I know I didn't touch on the Man City game, but they won 2-0 against Newcastle, and obviously the semi-finals were Coventry are at home to Man United, Man City are at home to Chelsea, I believe. So two very good semi-finals.
But they're both at Wembley.
Yeah, they're both at Wembley. Did you say?
Yeah, they're both at Wembley. Yeah.
Ellie, before obviously we'll be finishing soon because Ben's on. Is there anything about the ladies you want to bring us up to date with?
Yeah, we had a really good win on the weekend against Leicester City. It was fantastic. We played really, really well, and it was an opener and a preview to the game that we've got then at White Hart Lane in the FA Cup. As you know, we've drawn against them, and we can make our first final. Yes, come on, you Spurs women! I'm so excited for them, and I'll be at the match. I've already arranged cover for Angela.
Elly,
live than Theo.
Elly, is the semi two legs or one leg?
No, it's just one leg. We're at home as well, so they've decided to move it to White Hart Lane, which I'm very proud of the club, because hopefully we can get a really top crowd there. You know, at least 40, 50,000 or even 60,000. That would be superb, cheering on our ladies. And you know what? They've been really playing well. They're 6th in the league. They're 5 or 6 points behind third spot, so they're still in. They're still in contention. Just put it that way. And we've got Beth England back now, who scores for fun. We've got Martha Thomas, who's playing out of her skin as well, and we've got the young Gracie Clinton, who we've got on loan from Man United, who's been absolutely superb for us. So let's see how we go. I hope we can make the final. Just put it that way.
Jimbo, have you seen what Coover's put?
No.
I've got 2 legs and a semi right now. Honestly, Coover, you always have to lower the tone.
Rude boy.
Do you know what, Kate? Kate, I'd love to go to that game.
What, the ladies?
I would, yeah.
Come on, man. Get in the car.
When is the game?
I think it's the 13th or 14th of April.
We're with Mickey Hazard on the 12th.
They just changed it slightly. Yeah,
we're out with Mickey on the 12th, so I don't think we'll be able to do it. But oh my God, if the ladies win a trophy before the men, can you only imagine the banter? Oh my God!
Book a hotel and stay for the day.
Yeah, I know. Big up, Brian Daigle. Good to see you. It's understood, Alistair Gold has reported, it is understood that Ange Postecoglou is trying to change and get out of the mentality of aiming just for top 4 with everyone around the club. He's trying to build something for next season to challenge for the title.
Yeah.
Let's end the poll. Where do I get the results?
You did a poll.
I did a poll. I managed to get it to work, Ellie. Oh, yeah.
Well done.
69% said they are Ange in. Only 4% said they're Ange out, and 26% said they're losing faith in the manager. Wow.
Okay.
My thing on it though is like if you want Ange out or don't want him in, who do you actually want to bring in? Because otherwise, for me, we're going around in the same cycle of get excited about a manager, ludicrous to call them out, a few fans call them out, then that increases. Then more and more, then we sat in, then we wonder why we're not successful. Then the same cycle goes on and on and on. I think with Ange again, just got to give the guy time. And I know it was much earlier in the stream, but I wanted to say something about it. Ben put a comment in about the fullbacks that they should be playing out wide and not inverted. And whilst I get that, when Pep first came to the Prem, when Klopp first came to the Prem, even Mikel Arteta, they stuck by their system. They tried to instill it into the players. And also, we had some horrendous results in their first few seasons. Like Pep's Man City lost 4-0 to Everton, 4-2 to Leicester. Klopp finished 8th. Arteta finished 8th. City finished 4th, which compared to what they're expected to do is horrendous. And it's like we're overachieving and achieving more than what we expected to last season. I just think it's a massive overreaction. And I think playing the inverted fullbacks, as I say, people have their different opinions on certain tactics, but a lot of people say, "Oh, Ange should change it sometimes." For me, it's all about instilling that way of play. It's like Man City have done it now. Every player's so used to that style of play now. It doesn't matter what the opposition do; they'll play through you and they'll most likely beat you. Same with Liverpool, same with Arsenal. I think to properly get that style of play working, you've got to stick with it no matter what.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%, Robbie. Listen, thank you to everyone for watching. I'm going to go around and see where everyone is. The links are here, and I will put Robbie's link and Chang's links in the description of the video. Jimbo, I don't know why I'm asking you because you'll go, I don't know, but when can we find you next?
I don't know.
There you go.
I'm on Wednesday. I don't know if I'm not. I don't think I'm on tomorrow, am I?
Well, not unless we might be moving to Wednesday show to Tuesday, mightn't we? And having Wednesday to go and have dinner with our friend.
All right.
But I will put it on my page so everyone knows. But Mr. Chang, thank you as always for coming on. When can we find you next, sir?
I am scheduled to record an episode of the Also Spurs podcast later this evening at 6 p.m. So it might be released, I don't know, maybe tomorrow or the day after. Hopefully sooner rather than later. Other than that, I will always be doing my Wednesdays View from Asia with Miss Ash over on El Tel Cocarel, and also Talk and Ball. That's going to be at 11 a.m. On Wednesdays. Other than that, I might be doing some weekend previews with Mr. Eugene from on Spursration TV, seeing as I'm his co-host. But other than that, I have nothing lined up, as we don't have any live watch-alongs this weekend. Maybe, who knows? The following weekend, when the league fixtures resume, I will be continuing doing the live watch-alongs over on El Tel Cocarel, Spursation TV, and as well as Talk and Ball. Thank you very much again.
Oh, you're a busy man, Chang.
Yeah.
Always welcome.
I'm
Chang.
trying to keep busy with the international break. I think it's the best thing to do to get over the loss and just keep myself busy.
Yeah.
Obviously, we won't have a Premier League recap next Monday, but we'll sort out a show. We'll do something. So we will provide a show, but I don't know what it will be yet, but we'll sort something out for sure. Breaking news.
Maybe you could do Spurs so far, sort of Premier
Yeah,
League.
maybe. Yeah, we could do a review with the panel.
Yeah.
Forest have dropped into the relegation zone after being deducted 4 points for financial fair play charges. That's just come through. Big up Mark Smith. Ellie, when can we find you?
Them in a few weeks. In a few weeks as well. We've got Luton and Forest next week.
Yes.
But both of them are scrapping to relegation. So
yeah,
brilliant.
Brilliant news.
Yeah.
Ellie, when can we find you next, my lovely?
Before I say where you can find me next, I just want to say to people, like, stick with Ange, because he's broke Premiership records this season. He's taken us to new heights, and he's shown us a style of football that most people have fallen in love with, whether it's inverted fullbacks or not. He's not going to change his style, and I like that about him, because he sticks by his philosophy and he believes in it. And if he believes in it, then we should believe in him, because we know he's trying his best. And sometimes in life you don't always get what you deserve. But I think he's got the right mental attitude as well, by saying we don't want to just be a top 4 team. We want to be better than that. And let's see what he does. Give him time. Right now, where you can find me is with you, Kate, most of the time. Right. And and anybody else who invites me. But I'm also on Talk on Ball with Ash on Friday. That's a regular slot, which is really nice. And sometimes I also jump in with Chang and Ash. But I try to let them have their own show, because that's being courteous as well. But I like your channel, Kate. It's fabulous, and we're honest on this channel.
Yes.
We're honest and fair. That's one thing you get all the time, So, and it's lovely having Robbie on as well.
Yeah, it was nice.
Robbie. Yeah. Support this boy, because he's fantastic.
Yeah, 100%. One thing I will say is I don't consider us to be a happy clapper channel. We try and be balanced in everything that we say and do. And, you know, we're happy to listen to anyone's opinions. You won't get judged. That we like to discuss it and, challenge each other's opinions. Robbie, when can we find you next, lovely? And, there's a link to my merch, Hoover.
You can find me here, there, and everywhere, like Shadow from Only Fools and Horses. But I'll try and go on some more streams. I've been quite busy recently, so I haven't been able to get the content out that I want to, speak to you guys as much or other people in the community. But I'm trying to come back onto more streams, get streaming again on my own channel. But as I say, if you want to check out my content, Lily White Lane on YouTube. Absolute pleasure to be on. Great to see you, Kate. Great to see you, Jim Chang, Ellie as well. I believe it's the first time I've been on a stream with both of you, so great to see you both. And thanks for having me on. Been a really enjoyable show and a pleasure to be.
Robbie, anytime. If you're around, if you want to come on, just message me, and you're always welcome.
Much appreciated. Cheers.
I'm on tonight, 6 p.m. on the football terrace, and then Jimbo and I will be back here. I think 12:30 tomorrow. I think we're not going to.
Yeah, we was going to have friends tomorrow for Chinese, but the Chinese is closed, so I got.
Yes, we're going to go Wednesday.
Ring him and tell him it's opposite his house, and he didn't say it was closed.
No, well, he don't know, does he? But Wednesday Tuesday we will do Wednesday's show, Wedded Bliss, and then Thursday's the members show. So I'm sure I will definitely see Chang on the members show, which is always good. But we will be bringing content. It'll be slightly different, but it will be football. So keep your eyes peeled. There will be shows on Friday, Monday, even though there's no Premier League. So but make sure you go over and smash a like and a subscribe to Robbie, Chang, so Lily White Lane, Talk of Ball, Spurs Suasion, LTL Cockerel, Mile High Hotspur, all the smaller channels.
Three Spurs boys.
Three Spurs boys, Go Coffee Company, which I'm going to divert you to now. And
Spurs Between the Lines.
Spurs Between the Lines, of course, Mia's channel. Please do support us all. And thanks everyone for watching. Any last words, anyone, before we go?
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
Come on, you Spurs!
There we go. Come on, you Spurs in Ange, we trust.
Yeah, okay. Cooper's asking a question.
Oh, hello. What's Cooper saying? When's the next tinfoil hat stream? That is a week on Thursday. I've got my member show this week, and the week after we'll be back to Aliens. So keep an eye for that. But thank you so much to everyone who has watched. Please smash a like and subscribe before you leave. And as always, come on, you Spurs. In Ange we trust.
In Ange we trust.